You know, I remember years ago talking to a guy I know who, like me, was a big movie fan. He'd seen so many classics, and we talked all the time about films, especially those in the crime genre, and in particular those of director Martin Scorsese. I remember in one of our conversations he mentioned that Raging Bull had been on TV, a film that I really liked and praised, and talked with him about before he had seen it. And he said that he watched it for about 30 seconds, and then when he realized the whole thing was going to be black and white, he turned it off. He didn't want to watch it because it was black and white, and he, as a huge movie fan, had never seen a black and white film, nor intended to. I was astounded. Without hoping to come off as pretentious, how can you call yourself a film fan and you restrict yourself so much that you refuse to watch a film in black and white? You're literally cutting away the potential of seeing a film made, well, since the beginning of film itself, all the way to the 1950s and 60s, not to mention all those films filmed in black and white for style. I mean, would you refuse to watch Sin City because it's black and white? If you've never seen a black and white film, that must mean you've never seen a film noir. You've probably never seen a film made by Billy Wilder, by the great Akira Kurosawa, by Federico Fellini, by Frank Capra, by Ingmar Bergman, by John Huston, and so many others. You get this a lot. One person refuses to watch a black and white film, another refuses to watch foreign language movies with subtitles. We're all guilty of it to some extent. I myself for many years had convinced myself that I hated horror movies and would not watch one. A sentiment that must have stemmed from years of hiding behind the sofa, as my mother and sister would regularly watch horror flicks, as to my horror I was forced to watch or be on my own upstairs. Eventually I popped my cherry by watching John Carpenter's Halloween, and it was the gateway into a huge ocean of horror movies, and now I consider myself to be a huge horror movie fan. Just goes to show you, doesn't it? Anyway, for those who have never seen a black and white film, I decided to make a short list of 3 films to make your debut with, 3 films which I am sure that you will enjoy. The first is the Alfred Hitchcock thriller Psycho, the most accessible film on this list. Psycho's ability to hold up even today is proven by the fact that everyone I've shown this film to, everyone who had previously never seen a black and white film, who balked at the movie opening without colour, with the movie having a bombastic olden days sounding orchestral score, with the movie having theatrical acting, everyone of little faith ended up really enjoying it. It really is no different to any movie made decades later. What I mean is, within minutes a person who has never experienced a black and white film will get used to it, because there isn't anything outdated, like the humour, or even the plot itself. It's a perfect introduction to black and white films, and for those who say black and white films are boring. Without giving it away, Psycho's bait-and-switch storyline throws everyone who sees it, and whilst most will anticipate the legendary shower scene, a now classic horror movie scene and perhaps the greatest horror kill in film history, which many who haven't seen the film will know about, it isn't even the scariest scene in the film, perhaps because of its reputation, giving the suspense away. The most scary scene in the film is one with perfectly executed elongated tension and a hair-raising payoff, a masterpiece of horror scene construction. And I always take great pleasure, like an Apache father who's just witnessed his son's first buffalo kill, in reminding whoever I watch the film with that, hey, you just got scared and impressed by a black and white movie released in 1960. The second film on the list is one that initially appears as an intentionally provocative choice because, well, it is, a bit. And that's because 12 Angry Men is a movie set almost completely in a single room for the entire 1.5 hour duration, and all it involves is 12 men sitting, standing and talking. That sounds like every black and white phobic movie fan's worst nightmare. It is literally boredom on celluloid. People talking in films is bad enough, but talking for the whole film and nothing else? Now, I'm not going to be juvenile to split film fans between high art-loving lovers of cinema and Transformers binge-watching Philistines, but 12 Angry Men is a fine example, perhaps the best example, and a lesson to us all, that you really don't need car chases, explosions, shootouts, or anything like that to create an incredibly tense and engrossing drama. I cannot name a film more powerful than this one at gluing your eyes to the screen. The script and the performances are all that was needed to create one of the very best films ever made. The story involves a jury of 12 men deliberating whether to convict or acquit an 18-year-old defendant from the alleged crime of murdering his father. The collection of jurors are fascinatingly varied, complex and coloured, if you'll pardon the pun, and they're forced to confront their own stereotypes, prejudices, morals and values in the process. I cannot reiterate enough how absorbing and gripping this film is. It feels like it puts you under a spell when you're watching it, and the film is endlessly rewatchable. The final film that I would recommend to someone who has never seen a black and white film is the most challenging of the three, and might be best watched after watching the first two. That's because this one is not only black and white, not only has a testing, slow and deliberate pace, not only is it longer than the previous two films, and unlike them, the story takes a good 20 minutes to really get going. It's Japanese, meaning it means you have to watch it with subtitles, so you're watching and reading at the same time, an endeavour a lot more frustrating for a lot of people than simply watching a film. But if you put a little effort, if you give the film some time and be patient with it, you'll be rewarded with one of the greatest film experiences you'll ever have. Harakiri is one of the most stunning films I have ever seen. It's a samurai film set in 17th century Japan. Though calling it a samurai film really doesn't do it justice. It's so good it transcends film genres. It's best to know as little as possible, but the general gist involves a Ronin samurai arriving at a clan's house to commit harakiri, the honourable method of samurai suicide, due to the fact that newfound widespread peace means he's out of a job and doesn't have much reason to live. The clan suspects something is up, because this isn't the first time a Ronin has popped up on their doorstep asking to commit harakiri. Previous times they sympathised with these poor fellows, gave them some money and sent them on their way, but now they suspect that these guys are just out to nick some cheap cash off of them, and the story goes from there. Harakiri has everything. It has gorgeous cinematography, poignant dialogue that stays with you, complex characters, and terrific action sequences. Its story is one of the most gripping I've ever experienced, and the use of non-linear narrative is, off the top of my head from the movies I can think of and have seen, again, one of the very best in cinema. This is a film that really does move you and challenge you. If 12 Angry Men challenge the characters' prejudices, then Harakiri challenges your prejudices. You're going to feel bad about judging a book by its cover once you're done with this film. It really makes you sit and think about other people, about the fact that you don't really know them and what they're going through. It's a film that evokes empathy for others in you. It will hopefully make you a better person just a little bit. But even aside from all of that, it's damn fine entertainment. So there you have it. If you've never seen a black and white film before, try giving one of these a try. If you have, what did you think of my 3 recommendations? And what film would you recommend to someone who's never seen a black and white film before? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.